An argument at a conference could put a big chunk of TUSD's budget at risk. State law forced TUSD to shut down Mexican-American studies based on the claim that it encouraged resentment between races. Now, an argument caught on video has state officials telling TUSD it must prove it has not revived Mexican-American studies after all. KGUN-9 on your side's Craig Smith has covered them since they began.
Guy, tempers can run hot when Mexican-American studies is the topic. When tempers flared at an education conference, an activist caught it on video and made it available. It landed a high school principal and TUSD in trouble. At an education conference, Pueblo High Principal Augustine Romero claimed TUSD was teaching Mexican-American studies, even if it was not using that name.
The theoretical framework is back. It's back. The practical applications are back. Everything is back. Just because we don't name it something doesn't mean it's not back.
But state law says it must not be back. And state officials sent TUSD a letter saying Romero's comments make them want proof the program is not running again. The Mexican-American studies fight between the state and TUSD dates back about 8 years from when then state school superintendent Tom Horn felt Mexican-American studies students insulted one of his deputy superintendents at a school assembly. Advocates said the program helps students excel, but Horn convinced state lawmakers to pass a law that outlawed any program that drove a wedge between the races and promoted disrespect of government. A later superintendent ruled Mexican-American studies did that, so it had to go, or the district would lose 10% of its budget. Agri protesters even set off smoke bombs to disrupt meetings where TUSD considered dismantling the program, but the program did go. 2 years since then, tempers are still running so high, insults thrown at Romero made him so angry he was pulled out of the room. An activist for Mexican-American studies shot and edited that video. TUSD board president Adelita Grijalva was at that conference. She says the video gives an unfair impression of what was said.
I'm not saying that they weren't said, but I am saying that it was an emotional utterance and that it wasn't thumb your nose at what the state is doing, but it was more acknowledging the fact that the district is in a really interesting position where we are essentially could be pitted between a state law and a federal court order.
Now, TUSD does have to balance that state law against a federal court order from a desegregation lawsuit. It says TUSD must provide what is called culturally relevant programs. And in part of that video, Romero did mention that federal order. TUSD Superintendent H.T. Sanchez says the state has been checking what the district's teaching every step of the way. We'll hear more from him, new at 6.